So I'm Barb Fletcher, a stress expert, and I'm here with my good friend Deb Timmerman, and we are wanting to have a conversation a little bit about stress and something that we're seeing recently. And the title I put on was about the situation when we're so stressed, we can't find a solution. There's just doesn't seem to be any way to get off that hamster wheel. And I was having multiple conversations over the last couple of days with people who quickly began to realize that, when they're feeling so much stress and anxiety, that the solutions just seem like they're so far away. And I thought that might be a good conversation for us to have today. Have you seen any of that in the people that you're surrounded with?
Yes. Here's the catch of being someone who works in this industry. The people who really, really need you cannot understand or see how they could spend 1 minute doing one more thing during the day. Um, when if you can get that overwhelm and the brain to calm down, it creates time and space in your day.
Yeah, it is. It seems like a radical thought, doesn't it? It seems like it's not logical. And that's the whole point. It's we can't rely on our logic to try and get us out of this mess.
Well, because the brain, the chemicals are flowing and logic leaves the window. um, I think maybe you did read the blog that I wrote a few months ago about it's like there's a card sharp in your head or a horse racer who wants you to bet, and it's like constantly shouting out the odds of if I do this, then this, if I do that, then that. And that's what happens because the brain just gets hijacked by those chemicals, and you cannot think your way out of that. You have to feel your way out of it.
Yeah, and that's that whole concept is one that's foreign and uncomfortable to many because we've relied on intellect to try and solve the problem. And I think that, it's becoming more and more pronounced for people that the solutions aren't where they used to find them.
I don't know if we've ever experienced such rapid change in
Mhm.
our lives. At least I don't think I have, even though I've had a lot of ups and downs in life. The whole pandemic time has made this perception of having to make shifts and changes sometimes in the same day. You have a plan in place and you think you're all right, and then something else happens and that plan goes out the window. Um, so it is difficult when those changes are happening so rapidly to catch up because we stay in that flight, fight, freeze response for a long period of time.
Yeah, it really is. It's tough to I guess even encourage people to take the first step, which is, spending a few minutes for themselves to try and practice some of these techniques, get familiar with it, and just actually be kind to themselves because we've been on that treadmill. And this goes back to the tried and true silly old example of when you're on the plane, the oxygen mask comes down and we need to put it on ourselves first before we try and support those around us, our children, our families. And yet, it's one that we ignore when we're stressed.
I think another thing that happens is we become so disconnected from our bodies. We push those signals away.
Mm.
So we don't even recognize when our body is screaming at us to do something or take action. And then all of a sudden, the burden is so heavy, the body just goes, okay, I'm done. Shut down. that happened to me multiple times throughout my life. I was not aware, even though I was in healthcare, did not understand that aspect of stress and how it shows up.
Yeah, we're certainly not paying attention to the clues that are coming our way. We may go to the medicine cabinet and grab an Advil or a Tylenol or something to discourage or suppress perhaps some experience we're having, and as opposed to questioning where might the root be for that.
Yeah, and I guess it's worth pointing out that when the brain has all those chemicals and the problem solving, we don't are not able to use our thinking part of our brain or our higher part of our brain. So the solutions seem impossible. They won't come. And until you're able to ratchet that overactivity and that overreaction back, the solutions, they just never seem possible. So sometimes just starting with one thing that you're trying to solve, that little tiny piece to start unraveling it is good. And I know that both of us work primarily with women. Women are the best at hiding things until things crash and burn. And often by the time they get to us, they are so overwhelmed. It takes a week or two just to get them to connect back in that body so they can understand and feel when those clues are happening. They push them away for so long.
Yes, and the great news is that even in that time when they're connecting back in their body, they can feel some relief, some respite,
Yes.
which is so deserving, and usually that's enough to create the appetite, the interest to proceed and do more, and it really is just about taking that first step to experience some ease, and if I had one wish, it would be to find the words that could connect with people to say that it's possible and just give it a try. Just take take the leap.
Well, I guess I'll end this with a scary quote then. It's not really a quote, but this is how it worked in my life. When I wasn't paying attention, it kept trying to get my attention until it got my attention in the form of stress related illness. So if you're not, it will come knocking on your door. And you think about the sequelae that happen after that, uh,
Mhm.
it should be enough to scare you, unfortunately, into taking some kind of small step.
And we're human. We're like everyone else. Sometimes we have to give it a try to figure out before we make
Yeah.
a step forward. I guess we're just hopeful that we can show others a way that doesn't look quite like that.
For more tips on living life with less stress and more heart, please follow us on social media or check out our website at lessstressandlife.com.